Yo, what is good YouTube? I am Richie Kim, and today I'm going to be bringing you all the performance review on Harden's second budget line sneaker, the Harden Stepback 2. Before we get started, if you all enjoy sneaker content just like this, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button down below. But anyways, let's get right into it. As always, starting off with the traction, the Stepback 2 features this spider web looking traction pattern, and I'm pretty sure this is the exact same traction pattern featured on the Harden Volume 5. However, if you all have seen that video, I said that that traction on that shoe was absolutely terrible. But on the Stepback 2, it's actually really good. So it must be the rubber compound, since this is the exact same traction pattern, and you can definitely feel it to the touch. It is definitely a tackier rubber than what was featured on the Volume 5, and I definitely think that this is what they should have gone with for that shoe as well, because this traction is actually really good. If you are playing on your clean courts, you're gonna be able to stop on a dime. The bite is amazing. However, you know, obviously as you play on your dustier courts, you will have to wipe here and there just to make sure you clear off that dust to maintain that good traction. But overall, I would say that the traction was still pretty good on those. You just had to make sure that too much dust didn't accumulate. If you do like too much dust accumulate though, you will probably slide to a stop rather than being able to stop on a dime. So that is just something to keep in mind. But yeah, overall, I would say that the traction on the Stepback 2 is actually really good. So moving on to the cushion, the Harden Stepback 2 features a full-length bounce midsole, and compared to other shoes with full-length bounce, this is definitely one of the more firmer setups. It's definitely not a thick chunk of bounce as it is in other shoes. And then, you know, obviously it's gonna thin out in the forefoot just so you have more court feel and responsiveness. So basically what you're gonna get out of this setup is a lot of court feel and responsiveness, a little bit of impact protection, and just maybe a little bit of bounce. I wouldn't say that this is the bounciest bounce cushion that's been used on an Adidas model. Not even close. Like, the bounce in here is very, very minimal. So this is definitely a cushion setup. If you like to feel very quick on your feet, you want that very responsive cushion, then this bounce is for you. However, if you are looking for, you know, that bouncier bounce, yeah, this is not it. However, personally, you know, I still thought it was okay. You know, I kind of came into it knowing that that's probably what it would be like just because of how thick the bounce cushion is on the shoe. And my initial thoughts were right. So it is what it is. If you all are looking for a lot of impact protection, then this is probably not the way to go, but it is still a very responsive setup, and I'm totally okay with that. So for the cushion in the Stepback 2, I would say that it's pretty good. However, it would have been nice to get a little bit more bounce and impact protection out of the cushion. So moving on to the materials, the Harden Stepback 2 features a full textile upper, and the textile on the shoe is actually pretty nice, especially for the price point. The materials are actually nice and soft, and they conform to your foot very, very nicely. Outside of the mesh upper, what you're gonna get is like this screen mesh, that's this white part right here, and then you have like this harder, I don't even know what kind of material this is, honestly, but it's just a nice sturdier material that sets the cage up for the shoe for where your laces go through. So overall, I would say that the material usage on the shoe is actually really nice, especially for the price point. In my personal opinion, I actually like these materials a lot better than what was featured on the Volume 5. So yeah, overall material usage is actually pretty good. All right, so moving on to the fit. The fit in the Stepback 2 is pretty much like all other Harden shoes almost. I would say go down a half size. If you all are wide footers, then you know you could probably go true to size or down a half size, just depending on how wide your foot is. But just keep in mind, this shoe is pretty narrow, I would say, in this like midfoot / forefoot area right here. It does feel kind of like it's choking your foot out, at least for me, and I'm a slightly wide footer. However, I will say that once the materials do break in, it does lessen up, so there's not as much pressure, but you definitely do still feel the pressure there. So if you guys have really wide feet, I would suggest you going true to size or just maybe not getting the shoe altogether, because it is pretty narrow and it may cause significant pain. Outside of that, I would say that the materials do lie very nicely over your feet. I didn't have any dead space in the toe box area. So overall, I would say that the fit in the Stepback 2 is actually pretty good. So moving on to the support, I thought the support in the Stepback 2 was actually pretty good. You do have this external heel counter and this nice like kind of curve shape that curves inwards that, you know, just helps you lock in your heel. And you do actually have some like padding right here. It's very, very thick that, you know, just helps make sure that your heel is contained and it's not gonna be slipping out. So I did have a little bit of heel slippage at first in my right shoe, but as I broke in the shoe, that went away. As far as the lateral containment goes, I would say it's okay. There definitely are times where I felt my foot sliding over the footbed up here just a little bit. I think it's just due to the material usage and how soft it is. It's definitely, you know, not the most containing material. So I did feel at times my foot wanting to slide over the footbed just a little bit, but that didn't happen too often and it wasn't that much, but it was noticeable. And as far as torsional rigidity and stability goes in the shoe, it is decent. You can twist and turn this shoe just a little bit, but honestly, I would say that you're still pretty covered when it comes to that torsional rigidity and stability. So overall, I would say that the support in the Harden Stepback 2 is pretty good. It pretty much has everything that you want besides, you know, that little bit of lateral containment issue up in the forefoot. So yeah, I would say that the Stepback 2 has pretty good support. The Harden Stepback 2 retails for $80, and for $80, I would definitely recommend this. So I actually got these right when they came out, and I think Adidas.com was having like a sale or a coupon or something, and I got these for like 50% off. So for that price point, it's definitely worth, even for the full price point of $80, it's definitely a great performer. You're getting good traction. If you do want, you know, more impact protection, this Boost midsole is definitely not gonna cut it for you all. But if you do like that responsive cushioning, then, you know, the Stepback 2 will probably satisfy your needs. And then as far as the materials go, very, very nice for that $80 price point. And then everything else is pretty much, you know, good enough. So yeah, for $80, the Stepback 2 is definitely a solid performer. In my opinion, this is a way better performer than the Harden Volume 5. Like the Volume 5 compared to this is probably like F tier. It's just not a good shoe, where this is probably like closer to like a high B tier. Honestly, I can definitely say that I was pleasantly surprised by how the Stepback 2 performed. So if you all are balling on a budget, this is definitely a good way to go. If you all pick up a pair of these, I don't think you'll be disappointed unless you're looking for a lot of impact protection. This is definitely a solid performer and a pretty fun shoe to play in. That's pretty much it for this performance review. If you all like this video, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button down below. Also smash that like button for me, as it really does help me out. Also check out this video on my left and on my right, and that's pretty much it. Until next time, peace.